Hi guys, this is Wave 618. So it's the 15th of March 2018. It's just gone 7 p.m. GMT. Okay, so we're due a major update in Bitcoin. It's been a few days since I made a video and there's been quite a few changes since then. So first of all, I just want to say what you can expect from this video. So based on what I've been previously forecasting, we've seen a lot of weakness in the Bitcoin market and we've been hopeful of it making a move higher up, but it seems to be failing at every opportunity. So there comes a point where it can no longer keep retracing and you have to, reassess the count. I gave it every opportunity to make that move up. I was feeling like it needed to go up before it came down, but it turns out that's not the case. There's been a lot of negative media coming out about Bitcoin, and that's subsequently led to a lot of people selling. There's a lot of downward pressure in Bitcoin right now, and I don't see that changing anytime soon. So I'm going to explain a little bit about that in this video. So obviously, I still stand by my WXY, with this Y being around the 3,000 level. This has always been my target. I felt like prices have to come down lower because we need to see accumulation at low levels before prices marked up to these great values of $50,000. Yeah, these kind of moves require accumulation, and we need to see low prices before that happen. Obviously, in previous videos, I talked about price potentially coming up to here around the 17,000 mark before it came down to Y. However, as you can see, there's been failure in the market and finding a lot of resistance around this 11,700 level. And yeah, if you've been watching my previous videos, you can see how we've been looking to see if it was going to pop up. We were waiting for a confirmatory candlestick pattern. That never came. There was no impulsive move up, which means there was no reason to get in on the trade. Yeah, so that never came, and we've actually seen the opposite now. Price has been moved down. So obviously this was a W. It's 3 legs down and it's formed an ABC pattern. This was 5 legs, this is 3, and this is another 5 legs down. Now since then I was looking at an X wave, which I was thinking may look something like this: W, X, and then Y. And I was looking at X being in an expanded flat, but however it just hasn't held and it's broken this pattern completely. There was never an impulsive wave up from this bottom here, and when I say an impulsive move up, that's a 5 legs up and a 3 legs down type pattern. We never saw that on any time frame. I was looking at the 15-minute chart even, looking to see if that was happening. Never happened, and no surprise, the pattern didn't hold. So this WXY demarcation on this lower degree is no longer valid. So we have to ask ourselves, so what pattern is it going to make now? So I'm moving this right down to here now. I'm saying X finished here, and the way I would label it is like this. So I'd call this this W, this X, and this Y. Okay, now if that is W, you can see it's a 3-legged pattern, yeah, with a 1, 2, 3 legs up. I've discussed this several times in my previous videos. This was 7 waves down. We can see that on the hourly chart and much clearer. I'm not going to zoom in because I've discussed it several times in previous videos. This was a double zigzag down, and then this was a 3-legged pattern up. Yeah, now you can see that it failed to go beyond W, which we call this a failed pattern, a truncated pattern. And when you see these truncated patterns where there's a failure to reach higher than the previous high, this is a reversal pattern. We call it a double top, and it's a strong indication that price is going to move down significantly from this point. Just using fibs to confirm this WXY, if we plot from here to the end of W and then the Y extension is a 0.382. It came to the 0.382 extension of wave W, which is a well-recognized fib level, so it validates that that is likely the end of this WXY. Now, there will be people who may be bullish, and they will have said this is an A, B, C down, and we're going to see a big move up from here. And they'll be saying that this is, 5 legs up, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that's your impulse. However, it's a failed fifth wave because it's failed to form a new high. Now, if it's a failed fifth wave, why are you still looking for a bullish outcome? Yeah. So it's a failed fifth wave, which means that the market is weak. So why would your preferred count be that this is bullish? If it's failed at this point, then why are we calling it an impulse? Why don't we call it a corrective pattern and call it an X wave rather than some kind of new trend starting from here, which is going to be bullish on upwards? So yeah, I know there's a lot of people out there calling this a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and this is just a big wave 2. And for that reason, we're finding price not coming down much further. It's coming down slowly because there are bulls who've got in seeing a 0.618 or 61.8% retracement, and that's a typical wave 2 retracement. So they're thinking, oh yeah, still an opportunity to go higher. Still not happening. That fib did not hold, and so the next level you'll probably find a bit of bullish support is at the 0.786. But again, I think we can expect to see price keep coming through these levels. The market's looking very weak. So what I'm saying is, rather than calling this a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pattern, I'm calling it an X, yeah, which is basically in itself, it's a WXY, yeah, that's how I'm labeling it. I'm not calling it a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then a 1, 2, 3 down, or an ABC down, followed by a big impulsive leg 3 up. I'm not expecting that at all. This is weakness in the market. This is a failure wave, creating a truncated top, creating a double top, and prices being marked down subsequently in accordance with a lot of negative media. So this is how I'm looking at it now. Now the question is, what's the journey going to be to Y? So I'm expecting, with a WXY, each leg is made up of 3 waves. So this is your 3 waves here. This is your 3 waves up. Not classical, because typically you'd expect this wave to be higher, but it failed, yeah, because the market is so weak. Now you're going to see your 3 legs down. So it's probably going to come around to here, come up before making its final leg down. Yeah, it's going to be a fashion like that. How do we forecast where this is going to finish? We can't know for sure. We're going to look for lots of different signals. We're going to look for volume coming in. We're going to look for divergence. We're going to look at weekly candlestick patterns. And we're going to use the media and the sentiment. When everyone feels like all hope is lost in Bitcoin, that is when we're going to be looking to get in. So, a good way to determine where price is going to come to, very typically, Y will be a 0.618 extension of wave W. So if we're saying Y started up here, the 0.618, it's coming down to roughly this 3,200 level. So if we just stick a little price tag on there, this is a preliminary target that we can set ourselves. Yeah, so around the 3,300 mark. Yeah, it's not an exact target. Yeah, we have to use so many indicators for when price gets down here, but it's a ballpark figure for us to look at, and you can see we're well above it right now. So there's a lot of space for the price to move down into. Now these trend lines that you can see on the chart, how I've drawn them, so it's the line connecting Well, first of all, these lines connected the bottoms here almost, yeah, and then I've drawn a parallel line connecting the tops. This is confirming a channel and further explains why resistance was found at this level. Further resistance can be seen if a lot of technical analysis traders have talked about it. If we go on the logarithm chart, yeah, so this is the log chart, and basically this distorts a lot of lines, but if we draw a trend line connecting the highs here, you can see there was resistance. If we connect these two highs and project it, you can explain why it explains why resistance was found when price hit the line. Yeah, so on the log chart there was resistance, another supposed reason for why price came down from there. Okay, let's come off the log chart, so back on our linear chart. So yeah, it's still channeling, price is ranging within its channel, and I'm looking for a price target around this level. Yeah, this is my estimate at the moment. As I say, if Bitcoin is going to reach these major heights, which I think it's fully capable of, it's a fantastic concept. The whole of blockchain is a wonderful concept. Some of the other altcoins, of course, they have to prove themselves. Some of them are, you know, a bit of a fad, but a lot of them have a lot of potential. Essentially, blockchain is all about creating trust and yeah, validity, so that we can trust things. That's a whole another story, but it's revolutionary, to be honest, and it's just how the internet is changing our lives ever more so, and it's a very exciting times for cryptocurrencies, in particular Bitcoin, which seems to be the benchmark of all these cryptocurrencies. So I believe it's got a very bright future, but before it gets marked up again, yeah, we need to see low prices, we need to see accumulation. All the smart money wants to get in at the lowest prices possible so they can maximize their profits. All the negative media is coming out, which is what you see when you get to these latter stages of the move down, so that they can bring price down to as far as they can go, create as much pain as possible to the bullish Bitcoin traders, wipe as many people out the market as possible, until the point that they literally think it's going to zero. And at that point you'll start to see it settle. There'll be still lots of negative media, because that negative media will be creating liquidity for the smart money to buy, whilst everyone else is selling. So during this time, whilst Bitcoin is coming down, to be honest, obviously I was looking for this move up to here for the X wave previously, and the reason I was thinking that is because the altcoins seem to have been forming lows, where at the point where they didn't seem like they could go down much further, and that was another indication for why I felt Bitcoin was going to come up a bit higher, let the altcoins pop before price was marked back down. However, it looks like what can often happen is the altcoins, or correlating markets in general, can go sideways whilst other markets start to trend. So as Bitcoin is coming down, because the altcoins have already kind of dumped, you know, it's likely they will maybe just go more sideways rather than dumping any further. So I'll be looking to load up on altcoins and Bitcoin once we see prices much lower. Yeah, this is what I'm looking for. To be honest, it's not too far away. It could be, you know, looking at 4 weeks perhaps until it reaches its lows, and then you'll see a sideways pattern for maybe a few weeks further, maybe even longer. But that'll be the time to buy in, to be honest. So this is my objective opinion. I'd love to be able to tell you that I think Bitcoin is going up right now, but my videos are about telling you how I see it. And obviously I know it's a lot easier to buy Bitcoin rather than short it. Shorting it's a little more complicated. There's not as many exchanges to do it on, and people aren't that familiar with how to do it. So there is a slight bias towards people wanting the price of Bitcoin to go up. However, that is what is going to cause you problems. You've got to be objective and be honest with yourself. I'd love to be able to tell you that I think price is going up, and I'm sure that will make my videos do better, but I'm all about telling you what I feel is going to happen, and I feel that price is going to come down, which is exciting because, as I say, it's not too far away before we see some major lows, and then we're going to see some great buying opportunities. So that's essentially what I'm looking out for. That's the move I'm expecting. Price is down to around this 3,000 level. Market's looking very weak. I wouldn't call it bullish because we've seen a failed wave up here. It indicates a lot of it indicates a weak market essentially. So yeah, I'll leave it at that, guys. But yeah, if you're enjoying the content and want to hear more from myself, please like, subscribe and share, and I'll hopefully get some regular updates for you. All right, take care, guys.